fear. But before my husband and I first traveled to Tunisia in 1994, which was our first time to an Arab country, we were terrified. Our families told us when we were on our bike trip, you can't travel there, there's Arabs there. I was born in LA, which is a bicultural community, and in spite of spending almost all of my growing up years traveling, there was still this fear of the Arab world. It was within a few days after my husband and I arrived in Tunis on a bike trip that we realized that this fear was ridiculous, completely unfounded. In fact, we should have been more afraid walking out of our apartment in Washington, D.C., where we lived, than in traveling by bicycle in Tunisia. There is so much the Middle East has to offer that Americans haven't a clue about. My personal mission with our educational programs and our entertainment performances is to inspire people to look beyond what Hollywood and the media present as Arab culture. Probably the most radical thing that we've done as Tarab Rocks is to bring a live music and belly dance class into a high school in a small town in West Virginia. A few years ago, when I first had the idea to do this, certain prominent figures in the community said, "You will never get belly dancing in the high school." Well, that was all I needed personally to make sure that it was going to happen, because I realized right then and there is this stigma attached to this word belly dance. In order to bring this music and this dance into the high school, which I thought was so important for these kids to be learning, it needed to be repackaged. It needed a new name. So we called it by its Arabic name, Raqs Sharqi, which literally means Dance of the East. My goals for this month-long artist-in-residence type program were to introduce the basics of Middle Eastern music and dance, and to bring in geography, history, and languages of the region. The first question that I asked when Tarab Rocks walked in the class the first day was, "What do you kids know about the Middle East?" There was dead silence, and then one boy finally said, "They like to fight." By the end of the class, the kids had a completely different vision of the Middle East. I think what Tarab Rocks brings to audiences is a unique perspective of the so-called Arab world. We're not trying to validate Arab culture, we're trying to expose it. We make no pretenses of being Arabs. I think I would describe us more as being grassroots American ambassadors of Arab culture on this side of the cultural bridge.